And get ready to dive into the heart of local sports action. Broadcasting live from the heartland of Missouri, welcome to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. It's now time to catch up on the latest local highlights, in-depth analysis, and interviews from the Boot Heel and beyond. Here's your host, Rusty Hendricks.
Oh, yeah. Welcome in. Good Saturday to you. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. Glad to have you with us. A podcast-only week here for the SEMO Scramble. Unable to have a live show because we covered at the SEMO Conference Tournament. We will discuss that, some of the results from that here in just a little bit. But let's start by talking a little Cardinals baseball as we have the Dodgers coming to town and the St. Louis Cardinals taking care of business. A nice win, 7-2, Friday night over the Dodgers. Matthew Liberatore, tell you what, the last couple of starts, a little shaky. Home run ball has bit him a little bit. But tell you what, last night he looked good. Liberatore only giving up a couple of runs in 5 innings. So that's the kind of guy you hope that he could be. Look, I don't know that we're ever going to have Matthew Liberatore and think of him as a guy that's going to be at the top of the rotation. But can he stick at that 3-4 spot maybe of the rotation? I mean, look, a lefty, a valuable asset to have in your rotation. And you just want to see him, another guy. And we talk about the hitters so much, and Walker and Gorman and Wynn and so many others taking that next step, the leap in their progression as players. You want to see that from Liberatore, on the pitching side as well. I mean, I expect McGreevy to be better as the year goes on and get more experience. We'll see other guys, but Matthew Liberatore is a guy that you look at. Look, he drew the opening day start for the reason, and you just hope that as much as the Cardinals have invested in him, that he will start bringing in a little return, a little IOE. We need you, bud. So we'll see, but look, good win last night. How about Jordan Walker? Jordan Walker, great night last night. And listen to this, courtesy of the Cardinals TV network, Jordan Walker in a 2-1 game in the 7th, coming from behind, and Jordan Walker 4 for 4. And listen to this big-time play, the hit down the line.
Swing and a shot. Walker's 4 for 4. Herrera scores. Burley around third. They're going to wave him around. Walker's going for 3. He's going to make it standing up. Big night for Jordan Walker.
Big night indeed. Jordan Walker continues to just play great baseball. Look, went through a mini slump, has come back out of it a little bit. And just that's what you want to see from Walker. Be a consistent force. And for Jordan Walker, you're not going to have the home run ball is not going to be there all the time, but continue to play good defense, in the outfield, and then contribute, when there's opportunities, take advantage. And Jordan Walker did that last night against a Dodgers team that has been struggling a little bit. They just got beat in a series by the Miami Marlins, and now, we'll see. I mean, 2 games to go, and you're working against some of the bottom part of their rotation, if you will. You're missing Ohtani in the series as a pitcher. You're missing Yamamoto. You're missing Glasnow. I mean, so you don't have their top arms. However, it doesn't matter. One of the top pitching staffs in the entire league, and that's the reason why they have 20 wins on the year, is because of their pitching staff. So, hey, continue to play good baseball. You like to see it from the Cardinals, hanging tough there in the division. Are they a surprise? Yeah, they are a surprise. But they're playing a good brand of baseball. They're playing, pretty solid defensively. They're running a little bit. I'd like to see them run more, but they're running a little bit. But they're getting production up and down their lineup. How about Pedro Paez? And I've been critical of him, but he's been good of late. I'm not ready to crown him as a guy as your future catcher. Okay, let's be the calm down guy for a second. Calm down, okay? Not ready for that quite yet. But hey, he has played well, and give him credit. He's in a good streak, batting .333 over his last week. That's good. So let him continue to do that. And then other guys as well. So we'll see what the Cardinals will play this evening, Saturday evening, Saturday night game against the Dodgers. And then they get a tough pitcher, Robleski. He's been really good against right-handed pitching so far to start this year. So I got a fun series. Should be pretty solid crowds, good weather, and again, good brand of baseball for the Cardinals right now. Now, are they going to sustain it? Are they going to continue to sustain what they're doing over the course of the entire season? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not ready to write them off and say they can't, but I'm not also ready to buy in that this is going to be the full time of the season. They have an opportunity to actually compete. Okay? But again, overall, you like the start. Look, we're basically 1 month into the season. A long way to go. Long way to go. But again, people and myself also have been a little down on Ollie Marmol, but I think he has managed well this year. I think he's been good. We'll see if it continues. I'm always cautious to say, hey, guy has a good week, guy has a good month. That's what he's going to be. Jordan Walker's fixed. He's going to be an all-star now. We'll see. Wait on it. Let it carry. Let it carry over the course of the season. Then we can talk about it and decide and that sort of thing. But I like the trend right now of Ollie, of Jordan Walker, some of these things. That's good. I like it. All right. We're going to talk with Katie Woo, former Cardinals beat writer for The Athletic. She's going to be coming up here in a little bit. And we'll talk a little Dodgers, talk a little Cardinals. So that should be fun. A little reminiscing time with Katie Woo, who now covers the LA Dodgers. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about an announcement that was made for the St. Louis Cardinals yesterday, and that's the 2026 Hall of Fame class. Do you know who made it? You know who's on the ballot? Do you remember? Well, inducted this year will be Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols. Those two are going to come in together, part of the 2026 class. Obviously, both players deserving, both players National Baseball Hall of Famers, at least should be. Pujols and Yadi should be both National Baseball Hall of Famers. Their caliber that way. And then also Bill Sherdell. So Bill, they call him Wee Willie. He's fifth all-time in the Cardinals wins list. He was a pitcher. He had 153 games won. He won 153 games over his 14 seasons with the Cardinals. He had a 20-win season back in 1928. So he started in 1918 as a 21-year-old. He pitched all the way to the age of 35. He did play for the Boston Braves for, 3-4 years, something like that. But in his career, 165 wins, a 3.72 ERA. He threw over 2,700 innings. He had 160 complete games. 11 saves. He was good. He was good for the Cardinals and helped them during that time of the late 20s, early 30s, during that time period for the Cardinals. So Bill Sherdell, part of the list as well for this year's 2026 Hall of Fame class. Again, well-deserved. Pujols, Molina, fan favorites, and that's going to be cool seeing those two guys wearing a red jacket. They honored Molina at the ball game the other night, so pretty neat. Pretty neat. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Katie Woo. Katie Woo of The Athletic. We'll touch on the Dodgers. We'll touch on the Cardinals and their start and what Katie Woo thinks about that from afar. So stay with us. SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Yeah, thanks for the memories as we have Katie Wu joining us on our phone line now as she works for The Athletic covering the Los Angeles Dodgers. Of course, used to cover the St. Louis Cardinals, and it was the Cardinals getting a win last night, 7-2 over the Dodgers out at Busch Stadium. And, man, I tell you what, as Katie Wu joins us here on SEMO ESPN on the SEMO Scramble, there's kind of some growing consensus, Katie, that maybe, the problem over the last couple of years, it wasn't players, it wasn't management, it wasn't ownership, but really people are starting to believe it could have been you. Maybe some bad luck from Katie Wu.
I don't know how I'm going to be able to beat the allegations, because the longer this hot start for the Cardinals continues, the harder it is to just define it as a hot start, and maybe this just is their identity. But I'll tell you this, Rusty, if me leaving St. Louis is what it took for the Cardinals to kick it into another gear, I'll happily accept that. I'm sure Cardinals fans were thrilled to see that win last night.
Absolutely. And look, obviously, you kind of are back close to home and a California girl. So what's it been like, just covering the Dodgers so far and your time there being close to friends and family?
I've really enjoyed it, and that was ultimately the driving force in my decision to leave the Cardinals Beat. Of course, having the opportunity to cover a dynasty in baseball, that certainly helps as well. But, as I look forward to this new challenge in my career, I can't help but be very thankful for Cardinals fans and the organization being so instrumental in the early stages of my career. And I'm very happy to be in Los Angeles. I'm happy to be able to get to know Dodger fans and try to build myself up in a new fan base. But that doesn't mean that I'm not thankful, of course, for my time in St. Louis. And Cardinals fans on Twitter really let me have it yesterday. It made me laugh. So
yeah.
It's kind of the best of both worlds, I'd say.
I mean, does even your family still give you, I know you're, a Giants fan growing up. I mean, do they still give you issues covering the Dodgers?
They just loved the Cardinals coming to St. Louis so much, so they've had to make the transition as well. My dad is doing a good job of staying up to date with the Dodgers. We'll get to the rest of my family eventually.
Sure. So what memories kind of flood back, when you come back to St. Louis? How are you choose kind of to remember your time there in St. Louis?
I think the most common sentiment I got in my 5 years covering the team from fans was, we wish that you were able to cover a different era, because I did get one of the most down periods in this very historic franchise history. But the truth is, I don't really think about it that way at all. I think about how lucky I was to just have the opportunity in general. And I think it's important to have gone through that stretch for the Cardinals, because I think they needed a reality check. And when you're a franchise as historic and has as much prestige as the St. Louis Cardinals do, you have high expectations for a reason. So, I would have loved to cover a long playoff run. I got my first taste of the playoffs last year covering that World Series for the Dodgers. And I would have loved to have brought that to St. Louis fans. I think it was equally as important that we go through the struggles together. And that's what I'm choosing to remember. I'm choosing to remember the people that I met, the relationships formed, the stories that we're able to tell. And they weren't the most fun to write or talk about at the time, but I still think they were important. And I'm very thankful again for Cardinals fans giving me that platform and opportunity to do so.
Absolutely, and we're thankful for the time that we had you here covering the St. Louis Cardinals. Look, I got to ask, you get to cover the best player in the world, and that's Shohei Ohtani. Since covering him kind of almost day to day, what's your biggest thing that you have learned about Shohei Ohtani being around him?
That's a great question. He is remarkably humble, and that's the first thing you hear about clubhouses with superstars is, oh, everyone's on the same page, everyone's humble, everyone's pulling for each other. And you think, okay, that's what everybody says. So I was expecting, I'm not honestly sure what I was expecting going into the Dodgers clubhouse. But then I saw the most insane player in the world in Shohei Ohtani be a selfless teammate, joking around with all of his guys, absolutely no ego in that clubhouse, and I was completely taken away. We'll never see another Shohei Ohtani. We'll never see this kind of insane baseball talent. And he's just here being a normal guy, messing around with teammates, making them laugh, getting his work done. And I think that's part. I know the Dodgers aren't necessarily playing good baseball at the moment. They've lost 8 of their last 12. It's been strange. But I think what allows them to be so successful and play so deep into the postseason and win the World Series each year is because they are such selfless players who don't have an ego and can check themselves accordingly in the clubhouse. And Shohei is not immune to that.
So again, talking things over with Katie Wu of The Athletic, covering the Dodgers, formerly of the Cardinals. So I got to ask, you've had a taste of both worlds. What's maybe the biggest differences that you have noticed from the Dodgers organization to the Cardinals?
There's a lot more people covering the Dodgers, but I think the biggest difference between the two organizations is simply where they are in their franchise history. Like, they're very two proud National League staples, and while the Dodgers have clear aspirations of becoming the third or the first National League team to win 3 straight World Series, the Cardinals have had to temper their expectations with this rebuild that they're going through, although it doesn't really feel like a rebuild at the time. They're 19-13. They're 1 game behind the Dodgers. So, but the biggest difference is just simply that, the expectations. But it's clear to me, just knowing the Cardinals fan base and learning the Dodgers fan base, that these are two fan bases that expect the best out of their ball club at all times. And the Dodgers are focused on the short-term success, and the Cardinals, for the first time in a long time, are focusing on the long-term success. And it's interesting to just see where these two franchises are in their history, because they're at completely different spots. Yet the Dodgers not really happy with their play as of the last 2 weeks. The Cardinals thrilled with their start to the season.
So what are the early storylines with the Dodgers so far this season?
Well, they have, in my opinion, the best and most complete starting rotation in baseball. The offense has, and it's weird to say, with names like Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Kyle Tucker, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, they've had a hard time getting going. We saw that yesterday. 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, left 7 runners on. They've had a hard time generating production consistently at the top of the order, and that really started with Mookie Betts landing on the IL just a week into the season. Kyle Tucker's had a really slow start. Ohtani's had a slow start at the plate. However, he looks like he could win the Cy Young, a very early statement to make in May, but he's been just downright dominant. And Dave Roberts has been candid, and, a lot of guys still just haven't gotten going offensively. So they look a little tired. And when you think about how late the Dodgers have played into the last 2 seasons, it makes sense. But, they're certainly not making excuses, and they know they need to be better overall offensively, especially with this lights-out rotation. I mean, if they don't have the starting rotation, I'm not quite sure what their record is. Freddie Freeman said it best the other day. The starting rotation is why they have won 20 games so far. I would hate to see what this team looks like, and it sounds dramatic, but it's true without that rotation right now.
Yeah, that ERA for the team is second in the National League for the Dodgers. But, hey, first in the league, in the National League in home runs. And, look, you have, 10-plus guys on the IL. Maybe that's the weakness, is just health of this team. But I was going to ask you, what do you think is kind of the weakness right now for the Dodgers?
Yes, load management. And we talk about the offense being bad, like they're not top 10 in most offensive categories, with the exception of stolen bases, I believe. So I think it just goes to show where their expectations are right now. But certainly losing 8 of their last 12 does not sit well in that clubhouse. But it is load management. The Dodgers have the flexibility to do that. When Mookie Betts went down, they said, you know what, that's okay. We'll just platoon the middle infield with Alex Freeland and Hae-Sung Kim, who are 4th and 5th really on their depth chart, because no Tommy Edman, old friend, and no Kike Hernandez. They're both on the IL. So you lose your top 3 middle infielders, and they still have one of the best defensive infields in the league. No Edwin Diaz. That was a big blow. They didn't really have anyone coming up from the right side that has the impact of Diaz. Obviously, that's why they went and got him. But the bullpen has done a nice job stepping up. Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia. We're seeing a little bit better from Jack Dreyer. So those are guys that you're looking at, kind of the depth pieces. And across the board, no Blake Snell in the starting rotation yet. He's coming back. But they have Justin Robleski, who Cardinals will see on Sunday. He has a .69 ERA as a starter. So to have that on your shelf really speaks to the depth of the organization.
Yeah, he's been awesome so far. So for Tommy Edman, do we get to see him maybe by the end of the month? Or, what do you think?
I think we're looking more June for Tommy Edman. It's been a very fluid timeline, and Cardinals fans know sometimes it takes a little bit for Tommy Edman to come back, but when he does come back, it's worth the wait. This goes back to the Dodgers being able to load manage. They don't have to rush Tommy back. And the big thing, as Cardinals fans know, is Tommy Edman's ability to play around the diamond. And last year, he was really limited to second base because of that ankle that he had surgery on after the season. It was so bulky that Dave Roberts didn't want to put him in center field because it put Tommy Edman in a limited position. And that's not what the Dodgers traded for Tommy Edman. They traded him to play second base and center field. So they're comfortable taking the long route with his rehab if it means that when he comes back, he can back up Andy Pages in center and still play second base mostly every day. But still looks like it's going to be a while for Mr. Edman. Kike Hernandez trending. I think he'll be back before Tommy. We're looking maybe middle, late May for Kike.
All right, once again, talking things over with Katie Woo, the Athletic, covering the Dodgers. We are in Cardinals country, so let's talk a little Cardinals. Are you surprised by the start of this team, and what do you make of the Cardinals so far this year?
Yeah, with all due respect, yeah, I'm very surprised. And I think it's having the privilege to cover the bulk of these guys, the real core now in this 2026 team, been able to see them come up through the minor league system and start their careers in a very rocky time for Cardinal fans and for the Cardinal organization. And I really think what's led to some of their early success is for the first time in their careers, they've had the ability to play loose and free and relaxed, and it's translated immediately into on-field success. The president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, challenged this team with, we're going to trade some veterans away, we're going to take some steps back, we're going to be prioritizing on the long term. But this does give this group an opportunity to go out and create the new identity of Cardinals baseball. And these guys, to their credit, really took it to heart because I think the new identity of this Cardinals group is gritty, resilient. I saw their new home run chain yesterday. It said, got that dog in them, which I thought was hilarious. I also think it very much represents this ball club. They have the youngest roster in the majors, a bunch of guys that the casual baseball fan are going to be like, who is that? And they don't care. They're playing their style of baseball that they want to. They're never out of it, and that's a dangerous place to be. I don't know how long this is going to last for the Cardinals right now. I don't think it matters in a rebuilding year. I think what they've done is they've shown early on a reason for this fan base to buy back into this group. There are going to be some growing pains along the way. That's okay. But they've done a great job of figuring out who they want to be and going out and starting that season and proving it.
Yeah, it's been impressive so far, and Katie Woo, again, here on the SEMO Scramble. Really appreciate your time talking to us here this morning. I guess just last thing, obviously, covering the Cardinals previously with the Athletic, we still don't have anybody covering that. I mean, do you by chance know of any updates on that, if someone might be starting to cover the Cardinals?
Trust me, I know, and I wish it was different. I can't say too much about it. I know it continues to be a market that we want to prioritize. I will not stop advocating for it to be a market that we prioritize. Cardinals fans deserve a dedicated beat writer. It was a big reason on why I was a little hesitant at first to take the Dodgers job. But at the end of the day, they've proven that there's a demand in this market. It hasn't gone unnoticed from our staff. There are just certain things that we have to prioritize, unfortunately, first. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe that we should have one, and I hope we are able to have a better answer to that question soon for subscribers.
Absolutely. Katie, thanks so much for the time. Take care. Have a good one.
You got it, Rusty. Thanks so much.
Thanks again for Katie Woo for joining us here on the SEMO Scramble. I've enjoyed the baseball talk here for the Cardinals and the Dodgers. Let's take another break. We will touch on a little NHL, a little NBA. Yeah. I'll talk about the Magic. That's coming up next on the SEMO Scramble. Welcome back, SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio. A good time of the year. It is playoff hockey, playoff basketball in the NBA as well. Let's start by talking a little playoff hockey. Some good action last night in the NHL. How about the Sabres winning their first series? 4-2. They get it over the Bruins at a 4-1 final last night to put the Boston Bruins away. The Golden Knights finish off the Mammoth. Golden Knights, one of the favorites to win, along with the Colorado Avalanche. So the Knights win 5-1. They win the series as well. So both the Knights and Sabres move on. And there's going to be, the best thing in sports, a Game 7 coming up. The Lightning and the Canadiens. How about the Lightning last night? What a go, courtesy of ESPN. The Tampa Bay Lightning, their season is still alive.
Hagel moving in, down low, net front, loose,
Wow. Overtime winner last night, and they get it done. 1-0 final, the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's a team that, look, I kind of picked before the playoffs to be a team to make some noise in the East. And they got to get past the Canadians. They haven't done that yet. But a Game 7 is going to be coming up for the Lightning on Sunday. That'll be a 5 p.m. start. I'm excited for that. 5 p.m. start on TNT. That should be a really good one. And then you have the Wild and Avalanche beginning on Sunday as well. First game of that series, as I was wrong. I thought the Stars was going to be a team to make a big run. It wasn't the case. How about the Wild? They win their first series, you remember, since 2015. 2015, the last time they won the series, they did it against the Blues. Yeah. And the Wild get it done. They got a rookie goaltender. Look, obviously, Thrill Kirill. I mean, Kaprizov has been really good for them, but he's going to have to go against McKinnon, Makar, and company. Not going to be easy against the Avalanche, but that should be a really good series. You talk about being a rough and tumble series. Yeah, that one's going to be tough. The Avalanche and the Wild. That could go, 6-7 potentially games as well. Again, I like the Avalanche, give them the edge. But man, the way the Wild are playing, don't put it past them. I mean, don't be surprised if they find a way. I mean, they're playing some good hockey right now. But the Lightning move on. So congrats to them. The Flyers and Hurricanes, they will begin their series today, 7 o'clock start on ABC. The Flyers and Canes. I like the Canes, Sebastian Aho and company. I like them, give them the edge. But, hey, the Flyers, again, their team, don't count them out either. But Hurricanes with the slight edge there. All right. Moving on to the NBA. We got to talk about it. I don't want to, but got to talk about it. The Orlando Magic, last night, they coughed it up. They were up 22 points, and they gave the game away to the Pistons. They had them on the brink. Look, they were up. They had 23 consecutive misses there in the stretch of the second half. For 45 minutes between made baskets, from 8:46 p.m. Eastern to 9:31 p.m. Eastern. They did not make a basket. Detroit, the Pistons erased a 24-point deficit to win Game 6 to force a Game 7, and they go back home. Go back home in Detroit. Don't know if Franz Wagner is going to be able to play, but what a unacceptable job by Orlando. Look, Jamal Mosley, their head coach, has been on the hot seat. And, hey, they won in the play-in. They find a way to go here against Detroit. Hey, maybe he's saving his job, okay, if they can win a series or two. Man, that might have just been him right back into we're not coming back with you. But it's been like that all year for Orlando. I don't get it. The talent that they have, and they just terrible offensive sets, just jacking up shots, just turnover after turnover. They play hard, they play good defense, but boy, they are silly with the basketball at times, and they don't have great shooters outside of Desmond Bane. They really don't have good shooters, and Bane was not on last night. He didn't play well, and thus neither did anyone else. So we'll see. Cade Cunningham he's a dude for Detroit. And he's going to be a guy on Sunday. They're going to face off against the Magic at 2:30 p.m. I'll be honest. I don't know the Magic are going to win that one. We'll see. Maybe Boncaro and company can come out to play better. But the way the Pistons came back, I thought they were. I mean, people text me, "Hey, play that song." Nope. Epic collapse. That's one of the worst collapses I've seen. So. As a Magic fan, that was hard. That was hard. All right. Other games on Friday night. It was the Raptors getting a big win as well. Listen to this call as the hometown kid, the Canadian, R.J. Barrett, with a game winner for the Raptors.
on the move. Toss out, Barrett 3. Off the heel, and in! Can you believe it?
.2 seconds left. That finished off the game. 112, 110. Yeah, what a job there by Barrett to get that game-winning shot. The Raptors, they force a Game 7 against the Cavaliers on Sunday as well. But the Lakers, without Kevin Durant in the Rockets uniform, they get the victory. LeBron James, 28.7 rebounds. And they will move on to face the Thunder. Yeah, good luck with that. They'll face the Thunder. But here tonight, 76ers and Celtics. I'll be honest. I was surprised that the Sixers have forced a Game 7 here to get the Celtics. I mean, look, Jason Tatum's been playing good basketball. Jaylen Brown's been playing pretty good basketball. But, Tyrell Maxey and Embiid has come back. I mean, Sixers they got a chance as well. So 6:30 on NBC and Peacock Saturday night. We'll see if the Celtics can close it out. But boy, if the Sixers can get that win, that means the East is wide open, entirely open. Because I think it's pretty clear, even though, the Pistons are the number one seed, I think it's pretty clear Celtics are the favorite out of the East. I mean, man, if they don't win, I mean, then you really start thinking about, is there anybody going to challenge the Thunder? I mean, we'll see. But, man, Pistons in a Game 7 situation, Cavs in a Game 7 situation, and then you have, obviously, the Celtics in the East. So, games going to Game 7. Playoffs have been fun so far. And going down to the wire here late. Come on. Let's go Magic, see if they can bounce back on Game 7 on Sunday. All right, we will take another break, and we're going to talk about a little high school baseball, okay? High school baseball, as we will talk about the SEMO Conference Tournament, get an update on that, finishing up as the semifinal round here on Saturday, and we'll give you Rusty's top 10 baseball teams. Give you an update on that. So stay with us. SEMO Scramble continuing on right here on SEMO ESPN. SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, talking a little high school baseball, gearing up. In just the next couple of weeks, we'll start talking about postseason baseball. But the 2026 SEMO Conference Baseball Tournament going on, semifinals on Saturday. The championship will be on Monday night. So we saw Jackson get a 10-0 win over Kennett on Friday. It was Notre Dame with a victory, 4-0 shutout against Sykeston. Cape Central with a 5-0 shutout against Kelly. And then Poplar Bluff with a 9-2 win against Dexter. So, the consolation semis on Saturday, that places Kennett and Sykeston playing each other. And that places Kelly and Dexter playing each other, okay? And then on the semifinal round, the winner's side of the bracket, Jackson and Notre Dame, the first semifinal, against Cape Central and Poplar Bluff, the second semifinal. So that's on the case to get to the championship Monday night at 6:30. So Jackson has won the tournament title more than any other team. 7 times they have won the tournament title. They've won it 4 straight, an opportunity to win it 5 straight this year. No team has ever done that. No team has ever done that. In fact, if Jackson were to win it this year, to make it 5 straight, that would be more than any other team has won the tournament in its entire existence since 2001. What I mean by that, I'm saying that, Jackson has 7. That would give them 8, okay? But No other team has more than 4. So you have Kennett with 4. You have Poplar Bluff with 4. I'm sorry, you have Poplar Bluff with 4. You have Notre Dame with 4. Kennett and Sykeston with 3 tournament titles. But no one has more than that other than Jackson. And Jackson has a chance to win 5 straight. So we'll see what happens here. But that's kind of what the conference tournament outlook is like. Obviously, I was able to be a part of the seed meeting for the conference. That was fun. On Wednesday, we're at Rosati's. We had a bracket reveal show. Hopefully you were able to tune into that, talk things over with head coach Josh Roach for Jackson and a little bit with head coach Tom Bolen for Notre Dame. Let's listen in to a little bit of what they had to say. Let's start with the head coach for Jackson, Josh Roach.
And once again, the number 1 seed in the tournament. So, Coach, how we doing today? Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us on the show here, and we're doing well. It's been fun hanging out with these guys.
I tell you what, we've said it before throughout the area, year in, year out, but this is one of the toughest conferences in the entire state. Do you agree?
I agree 100%. Love the competition level that we have in this conference. It seems like every game we play, it's always going to be a tough one, and really excited about the tournament coming up because it's going to be it's going to come down to the team that plays the best at the right time, and we're looking forward to that.
And you get to play the championship at Kappa Hall. That's always special to do that on a college field.
Yes, yeah, Kappa Hall is a beautiful spot. It's a great atmosphere, and it's a really cool experience for our players, and it's a fun place to kind of in the tournament there. So we enjoy that a lot.
So as we look at your team, 17-6 record, what has been the strength of your squad this year? What has helped you, in your opinion, lead you to the number 1 seed?
Yeah, we started out really, really strong, and pitching was really both pitching and offense. Pitching kind of took over a little bit later on in the season as the bat slowed just a little bit. But overall, really, really balanced team. A lot of really fun team to coach. Really good kids, work really hard, and we've been kind of slow the past couple weeks, coming off a good Columbia tournament. But we've had a lot of guys that have been sick, actually, kind of fighting a bug going around the team. So we're finally getting healthy again, and we hopefully start to swing those bats a little bit better than we have been.
All right, as you look at your path to the tournament championship once again this year, you will face Kennett in the opening round on Friday. Then Saturday, either Notre Dame or Sykeston. And then you have potentially Cape Central or Bluff looming if you can make it to the championship round. So as you look at your path to the tournament title, what speaks out to you?
Well, we're going to have to play really good baseball. We haven't played Kennett yet, but I know Coach New's he's always got his boys ready to roll. And so they'll be tough competition on Friday. And then the rest of the way, you're going to have to play good baseball for sure to get to that championship game. So
now you have had guys step up over the past couple of years with the bats, on the mound, but it seems like pitching has been kind of the thing that has led you. And do you feel like that could be what leads you again this year?
I think so. Our pitchers have been a little bit inconsistent lately, but overall for the whole season they've been very, very solid. And we do have a lot of depth on the mound. And I think that's going to help us quite a bit in a tournament situation because we'll be able to roll multiple arms out there that can get guys out.
I mentioned you have won 4 straight as a school now in the tournament. Do you have a favorite memory or a favorite one? I mean, what think back of some of those last couple of years?
Well, I will. They've all been great, but last year was such a great championship game between us and Cape, and it was so tight. It was just a lot of pressure, and it was just a great high school baseball game. And for us to be able to pull that one out, it was a pretty fun experience to be able to do that in that kind of atmosphere and with such a tight game. So I would say probably last year, especially with we faced a lot of adversity last year and struggled quite a bit last year midway through the season, and winning that tournament kind of set us back on track, and we kind of started rolling after that. So it was a big one for us.
Absolutely. Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks for joining me. I'll let you get back to the Rosati's Pizza. So enjoy that, and good luck for this tournament.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Hefner.
All right, that's the head coach for the Jackson Indians, Josh Roach.
So that was Josh Roach, and, they got a good win against Kennet in their opening round on Friday. Brody Meyer pitched 5 innings, only giving up 1 hit, no runs. Pitching was great. They got the timely hits that they needed. A couple of guys with multiple hits, in game 1, Kilcrowley. Also, I think, was it Adler Flynn that had a couple of hits as well? So, look, Dawson Eftink, you talk about a guy that's swinging the bat as well as anybody right now. He's been moved up to that 3-hole. And then you look at Saturday's game as, again, it was the pitching that led Jackson. Drew Parsons got the start on the mound. He went 6 innings. He had 1 hit. He gave up just the 1 run, and he had 12 strikeouts. Man, he was fantastic. Drew Parsons, look, we have the radar gun up there at Capitol Hall. He was throwing low 90s. Yeah, he was touching in the 90s. There's a reason why he's a SEMO baseball commit. Obviously, the quarterback on the football team for Jack, but Drew Parsons, that's one of the better games that I have seen him pitch. And I tell you what, we'll see, but his name better be called on the all-tournament team because that was excellent the way he pitched against Notre Dame. So they won a final score of 3-1. And, Notre Dame, they've been solid. That's not a bad win, but an opportunity for them to pick up 3rd place in the tournament. And so we talked with head coach Tom Bolen of Notre Dame as well and get his thoughts on this tournament. And one of the things I asked him was about, hey, it helps you for district tournament time as well. You get that tournament feel and see if it helps you going beyond just the regular season. Listen in to head coach Tom Bolen.
We have head coach Tom Bolen for Notre Dame in his first time a part of the conference tournament. So I guess first off, I look at, this conference tournament, of course, everyone wants to be able to get wins in conference, be able to win the conference tournament. There's a regular season title, there's a tournament title. But anytime you're in a tournament, you're playing for a championship, and you literally do get a conference tournament trophy. So for these kids on each of these teams, you play each other throughout the year. You have friends on some of the other teams of that sort of thing. So it really is fun, challenging, but competition at its best. That's what it's about.
Oh, absolutely. It's an extremely tough conference. All the teams in there and the respected coaches run a good program at every school represented in the conference. And honestly, sitting afar this year, I think it's pretty evenly matched the entire from 1 to 8 on any given day. Somebody coming out there.
Parity, yeah.
Yeah, they can compete. And as coaches, and I think everybody else would attest to this, is you just want to play a clean game and compete, and we have the makeup to do that on Notre Dame, certainly, but the conference is extremely loaded with talent.
You look at this tournament, and I think it's a good time of the year to play it because, in just, 2-3 weeks away, you're going to have the district tournament. And it's kind of a little bit of a build-up. It kind of helps teams get into that district tournament mode because, even though this is, double elimination, when you get to districts, it's win or go home, right? And so you get into that mode, and I think it is, good to have this at this time of the year to help prepare each team for districts.
It does. It's a different mindset, when you get into playoff time. And, you can't make mistakes. I know you've heard me say that all year. Good teams take advantage of it. And in tournament play, you make a mistake, they'll put you away. It's usually the team that makes the fewest mistakes throughout a tournament will win the tournament. And Jackson's had a heck of a run the last 4 years, taking that trophy home, and hopefully there'll be something different. Yeah, every pitcher we've rolled out there, whether it's Crawford, Jack Jansen, TJ, Cooper Chapman, he's been the real big surprise this year, freshman going out there and giving us the ability to compete. But Yeah, the pitching's really kind of carried us, kept us in ball games, and that's been the one constant. I wish we could figure out the equation for having more than 2 hits in a game, and leaving 14 on, but if I could figure that out, I don't think I'd be here.
Time will tell, and an opportunity to display things this tournament.
Yes, sir.
All right, Tom, appreciate the time.
Hey, thank you.
All right, that was head coach Tom Bolen for the Notre Dame Bulldogs. So Notre Dame with an opportunity. They'll play for third place. Who will be playing against them? It's going to be Cape Central, as it was Poplar Bluff getting the victory on Saturday over Cape Central 5-2. Two-run homer by Seagraves for Poplar Bluff. A big blast, a big blow in the game, and Poplar Bluff able to hang on. So it'll be Poplar Bluff and it'll be Jackson to face off in the championship on Monday at around 6:30. So a chance for Poplar Bluff to come back and win. They have an opportunity to maybe win their 5th. And for Jackson to win their 5th straight. Should be fun. Part of the SEMO Conference Tournament. All right, moving on to other high school baseball. Without further ado, let's go ahead and give you my top 10 list. All right, my top 10 teams in high school baseball in the Southeast Missouri area. All right, let's hit it. Play the open.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's time for the final countdown. Are you ready?
Can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are going to have a serious conversation about the number 1 team in our power rankings this week.
Sports are awesome, which is why we have a top 10.
Top 10 best.
Top 10 teams.
Top 10. Hey, let's hit some power rankings.
Top 10, top 10, top 10, top 10.
Tell me who's in your top 10, who's in your top 10. Wanna hear my name, so I keep going and saying, hey.
All right, let's start from number 10 and work our way back. This week, moving into the top 10 for the first time, I have Cooter. They've been impressive so far this year, 15-4 record. Now, they're playing Advance Saturday, so here today in Memphis after the Memphis Redbirds game. So, maybe next week, if they fall to that game, I might move Advance potentially into the top 10. But, Advance, Greenville, those kind of teams just outside my top 10 rankings. But, had a tough loss against Sykeston, 1-0 loss. Lost to Chaffee, 12-4. But they also impressive wins. They've been playing good baseball on a big streak before that is Cooter. So I like the way they've been playing. I think they're a good team. Again, they'll have some other tests coming up. They'll face off against Notre Dame and Kelly, Portageville, Scott City, Neelyville towards the end of the year. So we'll see if they stay in there. But they're also ranked in Class 1 in the state of Missouri, and I want to give Cooter some love. So they're just ahead of some other teams. But Cooter making my top 10. I did displace Saxony because they lost to Advance 10-0 the other day. Saxony, though, still 13-3 record. They've been fantastic. So splitting hairs there, really. If you want to argue since Saxony should be in the top 10, I totally understand that. So, again, my reasoning really is because of their last game, and they got shut out 10-0 to Advance. Again, Advance is a solid team, but that's kind of my reasoning there. We'll see what Cooter does against Advance at Memphis. Again, I don't have the final score to that one, but that could change. But that's why they're in the top 10. Saxony is out. All right. My number 9 team is Neelyville. They move up. Is Neelyville to the top 10. 16-5-1 record in Class 2 District 1. Wins over East Prairie, over Donovan, over Risco, Thayer. They've been pretty good. They do have a loss to Dexter, a loss to Scott City. Those are not bad losses, two tough teams. They have a couple of out-of-the-area teams they've lost to, and then to Alton. So you look at they really don't have any bad losses. And 16 wins on the year. I think Neelyville is deserving. They have some solid players. I mean, they have some young guys, and Troy Hopkins has been really good for them as a freshman. Zach Cowley has been good, the senior, playing some good baseball for Neelyville. So a couple of good players, showing some power. Hopkins as a freshman as well. So Neelyville has been an impressive team at number 9. My number 8 team, it remains, and that is Sikeston. Sikeston lost to Notre Dame in the opening round of the SEMO Conference tournament. They bounced back and got a victory in their game in the consolation semis. Okay, they did that against Kennett. So, look, Sikeston still a solid team. 11-6 record in Class 5 District 1. They have some good wins on their resume. They have Oran and Chaffee, East Carter, North County coming up. So really all their remaining games are against, pretty decent, competition, and they'll have a chance to win the consolation final on Monday as well. So Sikeston remains as my team there in the rankings at number 8. All right, we look at number 7. That's going to remain at Notre Dame. Notre Dame at 15-11 on the year. They got that win over Sikeston, so they're going to stay ahead of them. Notre Dame look, they lost 3-1 to Jackson. Tell me another local team outside of Cape Central that has played them that close. There hasn't been. Cape Central lost at a walk-off. So, I think you look at the resume, some of the teams that they have beat. Look, they have a couple of tough losses. Kelly was one that was, probably the one you look at like, man, that was not a good loss. You look at some of the other games, but they have some good wins, but they've also played a really tough schedule, and most wins they've had since the 2019 season. So I think deservedly, Notre Dame is in the top 10. They have a chance to win third. If they can get a win over Cape Central, that would be a big win for them on Monday. We look at the 6th seed, or 6th part of the rankings. That's going to remain Valley Catholic. And, look, you look at my rankings from last week, a lot of them it's going to be pretty similar because a lot of these teams keep winning. And Valley Catholic, you talk about a hot team. Tell me who's hotter than them, really. They are 17-7, I believe, now on the season. They good win against Farmington. They beat Saxony. They beat Notre Dame. They beat Kelly and Park Hills, St. Vincent. They beat Hillsboro. So look, they had a rough start to the year. They were 1-4 to begin the season, and then then 2-6, something like that, over the first couple weeks of the year. After that, though, they have been fantastic. So 17-7, Valley Catholic, look out. And what I'm impressed about them, yeah, they could pitch it, but they can hit. They are a good hitting team. You look at, what they've been able to do, as a total club, it's pretty impressive. So Kobe Bosler's been really good for them. Caden Williams. You look at other guys, Andrew Shilley. They have some good players, good hitters, and they're showing up when they need to be. My number 5 team remains Chaffee. Yes, they are still undefeated, and yes, they have been so impressive. 21-0. Think about that, how hard that is to do. That's extremely hard. Extremely hard. And a Class 2 team, look, if you want to say they are in the top, 2 or 3 teams in the area, I have no problem saying that. I have them at number 5 just because I just like the teams ahead of them right now, and they haven't really lost against any, bad competition either. But, I like that they get 4-0 win against Oran, okay? and then a 12-4 win against Cooter. That's a really good win. That's one of their best wins on the schedule, that Cooter win. But let's be honest. Again, strength of schedule, outside of Cooter, outside of Oran, who's their best win on the schedule? Tell me, who's the best win? Kelly at 8-13, is that their best win? Leopold at 12-5, is that their best win? I mean, look, again, schedule gets tougher. Scott City, Sykeston, Saxony, Portageville, that's coming up. I want to see them beat Scott City. If they beat Scott City, I think you start taking them a little more seriously. They beat Sykeston, and look, they could very well win either one of those games. I think they're definitely capable of winning either one of those games. But I think they need to show it. And look, man, how about Kobe Estes, what he's been able to do out of the pen, kind of their closer and starter, some of those other guys, Roland Reichman, Dane McMullen, Mason Vaughn. Man, they have some good players. And then Jordan Essner, right? I mean, that dude's a stud. Nolan Fowler's been a good player. I mean, you look up and down their lineup, they've been good. And they've been able to score a lot of runs is Chaffee. They'll play Puxico and Scott City coming up next week along with Sykeston. They're averaging over 11 runs per game. Very impressive. So, again, I'm not taking anything away from Chaffee. I know Chaffee fans are not happy that they're ranked 5th in my rankings. That's fine. Again, I understand if you want to have them higher. I just need to see it against better competition. That's why. Need to see it against better competition. But they have taken care of their business. Look, you have to win against teams that's on your schedule, and that is exactly what they've done, 21-0. And look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If I had to pick a team that has the best chance in our area in their respective class to win a state title, I'm picking Chaffee. In Class 2, I think they have the best opportunity to win a state title. Now, they're going to have to get through Greenville or Bernie in district, which won't be easy, but definitely they're capable of doing that. But again, Chaffee is number 5, so that means Scott City is my number 4 ranked team. 24-1 record. They swept Greenville and Alto. I mean, look, Greenville 16-0. They beat that Greenville team. They're 12-4. That's a good team. They beat Kennett. They beat Neely. This is just in the last week that they have better wins than Chaffee. Just in the last week than Chaffee has all year. That's why, I mean, Scott City's ahead. Just be honest. And Scott City's only lost 1 game. They're 24-1. So, again, that's the only reason why I have Scott City ahead, but they've been really impressive. Lane Miller, hello. This guy can pitch. And Caden Lowry, maybe their ace on the team, not a lot of people are talking about. You talk about him and Braden Walton in the middle of their order, and then Lowry on the mound. Yeah, good luck. Good team. I'm excited for that Chaffee game on May the 6th, coming up on Wednesday. That's at Chaffee. Man, I am excited for that one. That one's going to be fun coming up. And again, that could change the rankings a little bit with that. But again, a win against Caruthersville, a win against Neelyville, a win against Kennett, Greenville. Those are good wins for Scott City, so they're my number 4 team. I have flip-flop. Well, I haven't flip-flop, but we look at the SEMO Conference rankings. This is where it's flip-flop. You had Cape Central as the number 2 seed, Bluff the number 3 seed. In my rankings, I had Poplar Bluff number 2 and Cape Central 3, and that's where it's going to stay because on Saturday it was Poplar Bluff getting the victory, 5-2 over Cape Central. So because of the head-to-head overall record, I mean, look at their resumes. They're pretty similar, to be honest with you. I think the bats are a little bit better, top to bottom by Poplar Bluff. Pitching might be a little bit better for Central, but you think about some of the intangibles. I mean, I just give Bluff a little bit of the edge. Some of the eye test, the gut is what I have, and so they're my number 2 team, and that leaves Jackson the number 1 team, and that's going to be our final in the conference tournament as you look at Jackson and you look at Poplar Bluff. So we'll see what happens there. Hey, if Bluff can find a way to get that win, you might have Bluff as the number 1 team coming out the next time we have this ranking. So But looking forward to that on Monday night. But those are my top 10. Jackson, number 1. Poplar Bluff, 2. Cape Central, 3. Scott City, 4. Chaffee, 5. Valley Catholic, 6th. Notre Dame, 7th. Sykeston, 8th. And then you have Neelyville and Cooter rounding out the top 10, 9th and 10th. All right, last thing, and we will let you go here for the SEMO Scramble. A couple of notes here. Look, we just found out a couple days ago, Dylan Holloway for the St. Louis Blues has signed a 5-year deal. So he's extended and going to be part of the St. Louis Blues. So I like the move. I like signing some of their young guys and extending them. You'd like to see that with maybe their young defenseman, Broberg and company. But Dylan Holloway, 5-year deal, reasonable for the St. Louis Blues. So he has signed and will continue on. And then Saturday afternoon, the Kentucky Derby. Kentucky Derby. Who you got? Who you got in the Kentucky Derby? Look, it's always a fun time. Kentucky Derby race. Take your picks. Rooting for a certain horse or jockey or whatever. One of the horses leading the way, Renegade. That's one that a lot of people are going for. Commandment at 6-1. You have Further Ado as one of the favorites as well. I don't know anything about it, just a guess. I like the name, Emerging Market. I'm going to go with out of the 15 slot at 15-1, Emerging Market. That's the one I'm looking at post positions for the Kentucky Derby. That'll be happening at around 6 o'clock Saturday evening. So, just something to think about as well. The Cardinals continue against the Dodgers Saturday evening. Again, the conference tournament for baseball continues on Monday. SEMO in a tough series against EIU, SEMO Baseball. They dropped the opening game. See if they can bounce back and win the series over the last couple of games and stay towards the top of the OVC standing. So big weekend for SEMO Baseball as well. Obviously, you look at more high school sports. I mean, track getting into it and really coming on strong. Some of the tennis matches and things like that. So congrats to some of those winners, some of the conference winners and things going on. Some of those athletes announcing that they'll be playing at the next level. So congrats to all those as well. And we look forward to continuing to following them as we go along. But that'll do it from the SEMO Scramble here this week. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, everybody, and be safe out there and enjoy time with family. SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN.
You've been listening to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 for a dash of hometown pride and the latest news, scores, and stories that matter most to local sports enthusiasts from the Boot Heel and beyond. Right here on SEMO ESPN 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, the SEMO ESPN app, and SEMOESPN.com.